This is such an interesting matchup. You have the 4 seed versus the 5 seed. Native White taking top 4 at HCS Charlotte, where Native Red didn't even make it out of open bracket. Granted, Native Red wasn't able to play with Druck. They wouldn't even have been in open bracket. So a little bit of a kind of a topsy-turvy situation there. But then you look at the previous HCS 4K. These two teams matched up against each other, where Native Red took it 3-1. I feel like this series is destined for a best of 5.
This series couldn't be any closer. What we see from their seeding, honestly, sometimes we look at seeding and say, maybe it's not the whole story, but right here, 4 and 5, that is the neck and neck that you'd expect between these two teams from the same organization. Native Gaming has really put out 2 strong rosters in this year's HCS series, and I am excited to watch them go head to head. Almost like, I grew up in Michigan, the Michigan State rivalry. We almost see a little bit of that here, the Native Red versus Native White. Now their seeding 4 and 5 is actually flipped from their placement from the last pool play, which you kind of hinted at, with Native Red taking 4th place, and it was Native White in that 5th, 6th. So there's a lot in the line here if they want that seeding to match up. Native White defending the 4 seed, but they have to defend it against Tolic, who's already getting a triple kill right out the gate.
Oh, just as it looks like death and destruction for Native Red off rip. 3 go down, but it's Tolic, the last player alive, who earns himself the triple kill. And it's rolling into an overshield grab for Druck as well. He's got that negated, though, as the push is on the Native White side of the map after an incredible triple from Tolic. He's still going.
One way to start out the series. Hot right there. And from Tolic, the player I promised to never underestimate again. And you can see why, but is it going to be enough? Dodging the rocket. Barcode hops right over it. A little bit of a kangaroo hop from this player from Australia to avoid being taken down by the rocket launcher.
And going into this Empyrean Pit CTF remake, you got to give the edge to Native White, right? You got McWin and Gilkey, a little bit older, more veteran Halo players. You know, Gilkey, he used to dominate and run the pit in Halo 3. Woo! Native Red, bunch of H5 kids. So you got to lean a little bit towards Native White in this Empyrean CTF Pit remake.
I cannot lean one way or the other, okay? I love both of these rosters, and I just feel like this matchup couldn't be any closer. When you said you expect this to go to a game 5, I absolutely agree, because as soon as one team gets hot, the other team answers in kind, and now it's Barcode with the kills. It's Barcode with the first flag pull. Native White trying to take an early lead in this game.
All right, flag out. Nobody past the 50-yard line for Native Red, so they're going to look to play defense off their back foot here and filter out from the backside, but they've already pushed through green. Manny goes down, though. Big kill to kind of reset the map positioning and control. And despite that 3 down for Native Red, a smart pull for Barcode, this flag hasn't gone much further.
Flag run is stopped, but enough to have it in the back of the minds of Native Red to watch your back, because the breakthrough is coming. And now it's 2 down for Native White. Native Red answer in kind, but it's Barcode with a perfect kill. That's it. Last alive, all 4 down. And now Gilkey on the respawn, knowing to just try to anchor in the base, try to stabilize, try to win the 1v1. Nearly wins it cleanly. A nice repulsor play ends up as a net trade, and Tolic off of the round of slays now has the power weapon right in the base and in the face of Native White.
Yeah, but that was a massive trade from Gilkey, especially with the likes of rockets in the hands of Native Red. Gilkey doesn't trade out there. This flag's already past the long haul. Instead, it's just now getting pulled. Huge play from Gilkey, again, despite going down, but Native Red now have a good flag run out.
I don't know how you look at these two teams and try to pick a favorite. What is it, Native Red, like team friendship over here? This team has been playing together for so long. And then you got Team International on the side of Native White, tapping buttons, coming out from the Mexico region. Barcode from ANZ, but it's Native Red who draw first blood. The capture comes through. Druck using that sniper to suppress any counter push that Native White would try to build.
Druck looking to roll that momentum after that first score. Has 3 down for Native White. That's going to open up mid-map control. All 4 down for Native White. Native Red now freely able to push through onto this Native White side of the map. And with the Druck sniping, this is going to be even more difficult for them off spawn. But a little bit of a reset. Look at this. Wow. Interesting enough, Native Red gets pushed all the way back to their green hall. Great plays defensively from Native White, despite not taking anyone down for Native Red. They did enough through, I guess, pressure and presence to push all the way through. Now they're in the side of Native Red. Now three down for Native Red. Native White, where it looked like we were about to see a pull for Native Red. Now it's Native White with a flag out instead.
Dropping more bars is Mikowski here with that unintentional rhyme that delivers the information that all of a sudden Native White are on the brink of tying up this game, and Gilkey lines up the snipe. The flag is on the move. They're at the home stretch, and Gilkey continues to stack up the bodies, throws down the drop wall. The sniper is going to be now in the hands of Manny, but the capture across the scoreboard is all that Native White were hoping for.
Yeah, and numbers advantage for Native White after scoring. So again, they're going to get a chance to push up onto this Native Red side of the map. But I got to go back to that previous sequence, Magic. I really felt like Native Red, almost like giving up rockets or overshield for free. I really feel like they gave up the mid-map control for free, backed up off of the green hall with numbers and a sniper in the hands of Druck. I got to go back and say that was an error from Native Red. Because of it, we're tied at 1.
Nearly the double kill with the rockets, but Manny has to send out both rockets in order to get one kill, one takedown. But when the teams are this close, sometimes it's just the difference of a one kill that can tip the scale. Manny looking for the headshot across the training, doesn't connect, and now doubling back. But it's Mikwin with overshield running the flag. Not something you normally see, using that overshield more often to go after slays instead of playing objectives. Mikwin is singled out, but look at how much ammo he burned off. Manny doesn't have any sniper left to work with.
Yeah, Mikwin thought he was doing something there with that overshield, but Manny with the snipes takes him down, resets this Native White roster, and look at it, all 4 pushing through the long haul. A little bit tight from a spacing perspective, and because of that, they're going to elect to back up, similar to how we saw Native Red back up previously, but that led to a score for Native White, so you can't back up too far if you're Native Red. You might go 3 down, you do. Soul Snipe, last player alive.
Soul Snipe as the last alive, and Gilkey is trying to get the full team wipe if he can get the takedown. Soul Snipe hiding in the corner, Gilkey shooting with the help of Barcode, who comes out with that kill. Gilkey immediately looking for the snipe, and he catches the elbow of Manny just a hair of a second before he made it into cover.
And I'm really surprised there to see Soul Snipe pull flag with all 3 of his teammates on the opposite side of the map. You thought maybe he would have waited in that mauler area to potentially just stay alive and wait for his teammates to push up onto that Native White side, but instead, Soul Snipe goes down. Native White has a fairly easy push out through Green Hall, and Gilkey with the centering lined up on Druck doesn't have the timing, as this one's tied 1-1. Counter site potential. The body shot, headshot from Gilkey opens up the slays for them. Numbers advantage as well. 3 down for Native Red. Again, Gilkey, he's gonna get this one out.
3 players inside of Native White with 13 kills apiece, and now Gilkey clutching up another kill to hit that 14 kill mark, but doesn't get the touch onto the flag. A little bit of defense on the side of Native Red. It looks like it's gonna hold, but not for long, because Tapping Buttons is right back on the push. That flag didn't get fully reset, and so Tapping Buttons doesn't have to go to low ground, but it was the unfortunate friendly fire that takes down Tapping Buttons. And how quick is this response on the side of Native Red? It's the power-up spawning in. Rockets and Overshield are in play in about 1 second as Soul Snipe picks up the rockets. He's gonna fire out 1, he's gonna fire out 2, finds no kills, and now trying to get enough for an assist is all the use he gets from those rockets.
Wow, I thought Soul Snipe would at least get 1 there. But instead, the rockets shoot blanks. End results, blank as well. No kills with those rockets. As Talik now looks to push up, but the boom block goes out a little late. Gilkey sneaks that grenade around the corner and sneaks through long haul, pushing through aggressively. It looks like a free pull. Everybody from Native Red either on spawn or on the other side of the map. Those 2-3 now on spawn on the snipe side. Gilkey gonna need a little help here. This is the exact same spot we saw Gilkey in earlier. He was slaying out, but he had no help. All 3 of Native White still on the Native White side of the map, so Gilkey gonna have to play some heroics once again here on the Mauler side, but no, he goes down.
Playing that cheeky little ledge, and now we see Barcode up at the top of Banana trying to be cheeky, but Druck is shutting that down like Manny did over at the Mauler spawn. Tapping Buttons now rotating through, trying to deal with Manny, but the team fire right now. Native Red might be forced to play defense, but what a great defensive setup they have. It's Gilkey with a long haul, and he gets the plasma grenade stick for the kill.
That was big too. That would have been 2 pushing through long haul unabated. Instead, you have Talik in a 1v1. He gets down to one shot because of it, and he goes down because of it. So Gilkey, again, making plays as either the last player alive or trading from the death, making the plays that his team needs to stay in this tied 1-1, less than 3 to go.
But it was Native Red with a beautiful round of defense, and now they are the ones to get the flagpole to go down for Native White, to go down for Native Red. It seems like it's a family feud. Whenever I watch these teams matching up with how close and competitive they are, both of them being part of Native Gaming, it feels like a couple of brothers or siblings going at each other. I grew up with a lot of competitive sisters, and man, when you are fighting up against someone that you know so well, just adds another layer of intensity to the whole situation.
Yeah, Native Red and Native White, they both hang out and eat at the best restaurants. They both hang out with the hottest dudes because they're both just that cracked. They both deserve the claim and the fame and all of the love that comes in pouring from the Halo community for this Native organization, one of the unpartnered teams in the HCS, looking to obviously get partnered. And one of the ways you can do that is through these incredible performance we see from both of these two teams as Tapping Buttons looks to steal the overshield. Talik waits. Didn't really like his positioning, didn't really like the situation he was flying into, but he flies off the map with Sniper. I believe only one shot, but it's one snipe off the map nonetheless as Tapping Buttons pushes up with overshield.
Tapping Buttons, too much of a heads-up play, avoids that Achilles spine, barely avoids it again. The double assist comes through, and now it's Native White's turn to run the flag. And look at that relay. Look at the toss from Gilkey up to green. The catch comes through. They're rotating the shortest distance between 2 points is that straight line, cutting the map in half. And Native White with one of the quickest flag relay captures take the lead.
Wow, and with 1:15 left on the clock, this is it. This is the last ditch ever. This is the last good push you're gonna get from the likes of Manny and friends. 2 shots in that sniper rifle. The grenade goes out, but he goes down. Huge takedown there from Manny. Numbers advantage for Native White. They're gonna push through with it despite having the lead. Druck and Manny are down. Tapping Buttons and the rest of this Native White roster pushing through long haul and green. Collectively, that's gonna be a pinch potential for Barcode, but Manny picks it up. Native Red with life.
Native White just trying to hold defense for another 40 seconds, but look at Native Red. They go 3 strong down long haul. They find 2 kills. They find 3 kills. Barcode's the last alive. Native Red have numbers. Barcode singled out the back of the base, and Talik wins the pivotal 1v1. This is the flag cap that Native Red needs to force the overtime. Talik rounds the corner, doesn't have any help, relying on teammates to pick up where he left off. That gives enough time for Native White to kind of stabilize off the spawns as Tapping Buttons finds a kill. This flag is stopped short of that 50-yard line. Tapping Buttons double kill. Now working his way over. This return would spell a game over win if Native White can see it through and they get that reset.
Wow, Tapping Buttons with the double kill, and it's going to be the doubled up score of 2-1. That's enough for Native White, just as it looked like Native Red had the answer, had the slays at the end. Tapping Buttons clutches up with that double kill and helps his team take a narrow 1-0 lead in the series.
You know, when Talik won the 1v1 on the final player in the back of the base, I thought that was a GG's, but the response from Native White across the map at that sniper tower spawn was enough to stop that flag in its track. And the only thing I can wish is that Native Red had relayed the flag with a little bit more sense of urgency. They almost allowed a round of respawns before getting to like the halfway mark or even past the plasma grenades that could have secured them that game time flag.
Yeah.
They seemed almost, can I say they seemed a little bit too patient, maybe a little too comfortable when time wasn't on their side?
100%. The patient play was to go first BR. The down 2-1 with less than 1 minute to go play was to maybe take it towards that platform to where you can jump it across to the green hall. It's a little bit more exposed if you take that route. You don't have the protection of first BR, but we saw Talik had the protection of first BR, waited till his shield's fully recharged, and he still went down to Tapping Buttons. So I think absolutely it's a little bit easier to say, and you know, hindsight's 20/20 here. It might be 40/20 instead, but nonetheless a little bit of a missed route, a misplay there from Native Red as they stare at a 1-0 deficit despite what was an incredible, highly contested series. It's almost unfair to say either team leads after one. It's almost like after one game they should be tied 1-1. I know that sounds faded, but that's just how close this one felt.
Yeah, I would not at all. I would be surprised if the next game doesn't flip and tie up the series, right? Like, that's just going to be the back and forth of these two teams. But I have to, chat, help me out here. When it comes to vision, right? 40-20 is worse than 20-20. Isn't 15-20 actually like better?
Oh, well.
I think lower numbers are better when it comes to vision. I don't know.
Here we see Gilkey.
Man, these plays though, we saw so many incredible snipes. I'm just kind of like watching the replays, which I love having, and just kind of like trying to soak up the
I think
it was everything.
No, I think to answer that question, I think it was Gilkey getting into the to the base of Native Red multiple times, but it was just the timing was a little off. Gilkey a little too many hero plays for Gilkey, if you will. Needing a little bit more support, especially as he cleared through and got to the other side of that Native Red side. We saw 2, maybe even 3 pulls for Gilkey where nobody on Native White was even past the 50-yard line. So because of that inefficiency, Native White had the pulls. Excuse me, Native Red had the pulls, but Native White find the 2 that ultimately win them this game as we look to hop on board here with the SSG.
One away.
Wow, G1 one kill away with their new roster suppressed. Taking Suspector's spot, 49-41. This is a safe lead, though, for G1. They could really just play for trades here and get that 1 free kill as they do just that. Sav takes him down. I believe that's a Game 2 victory, not a Game 5 victory for G1, as that series is either 2-0 G1 or 1-1. Interesting. Wow.
It's a 2-0. Thank you for the info here from production. G1 are 1 game away from upsetting SSG in that competitive Pool C, which was called the Death Pool, I believe, by King J in the status quo, because that pool in and of itself has the ability to be shaking up more than anything else, and that's what you're about to see G1 with that 1 roster change, and now 1 kill away or 1 game away from upsetting SSG. Now we know SSG, they tend to start out a little bit cold. Do they find the way to heat back up and get the reverse sweep? We'll try to keep you updated on that as we head into our feature match here. Native White, Native Red looking to tie this competitive series up, but it's Gilkey on the side of Native White with the camo in hand.
Gilkey gonna make this sneaky play. Oh, I love that minimal efficiency there on Druk. Takes him down in just a few shots. That's gonna allow Gilkey to get fully cloaked again, but Native Red does a great job jumping on Gilkey, taking him down. This one is a narrow lead off the rip, 5-4 for Native White.
Now we just saw this Slayer Aquarius G1 winning over SSG, and before that it was that Optic Sentinels, a heartbreaker, where Optic clutched up after Sentinels had a 4+ point lead for the majority of the game. Sentinels went down in that series 49-50 on the Game 2. This game has all the makings to be another 49-50 finish, but it's Native White with a little bit of an early lead, a 5-point lead. It's tapping buttons, 5-1, half of the slays for the team, and a quick, strong start. And now the Dynamos are going to cause destruction. Native Red trying to rotate over to the refrigerator, and all that did was chain reaction. The damage from those Dynamos across the majority of the roster. Barcode picks up a kill. He's taken down. 3 go down for Native White. It's a brief 1v1. Soul Snipe versus Tapping Buttons. Tapping Buttons comes out with the reversal clutch kill.
Tapping Buttons 8-1. If he was playing single-handedly, he'd only be down 1 against the entirety of Native Red. Unbelievable performance here by Tapping Buttons. And Tapping Buttons, it was his play style. It was his positioning here on the car side of the map, pushing through. It allowed Barcode to fly through the middle of the map because all of the attention was on Tapping Buttons. So because of Tapping Buttons' great start here, it also opens up a great start for Barcode as well as Native White. Well, up 1-0 in the series. Narrow was the adjective we used to describe it. Now it's looking a little bit less contested, 20-13. Wow.
Yeah, this lead has put on a little bit of weight now. A 7-point advantage, and Gilkey gets a nice kill, a nice little takedown there. Gilkey already with 5 assists. Assist count a little bit stronger as well on the side of Native White, what you'd expect from their early lead. On board now with Barcode as he rotates through, and he might end up in a fight against Manny, who just popped the camo. Tapping Buttons is across the way. 3 players from Native White in that blue utility room, and Manny's just trying to soften him up, hoping that a teammate can clean up some assists on the kills. It looks like Barcode finds 1. There's an isolated 1v1 on the other side of the map that Mikwin wins, but Manny with the camo looking for the backspec on the Tapping Buttons and it's the sidekick credited with that takedown. Manny trying to preserve his life as he's receiving fire across the way. Finally shut down, but extending that lead.
Oh, tough sequence there for Native Red as they do enough to earn that camo. But Manny only trades out 1 for 1, down by 6 here in this game. You needed that. Really efficient. 2 kills, no deaths, maybe 3 or 4. If you're really lucky, if you're Native Red. But instead, Native White just continues to build on this lead. Now up by 2 team wipes.
Tapping buttons is a problem right now for Native Red. I did a little bit of a pool prediction on my stream earlier this week, and what I said was that tapping buttons has not even reached his final form yet, and you're seeing him hit another level here today. He had the clutch double kill to get the return on the flag in the last game, and now the opening break of this game is sitting at 11-6. Unfortunately, I might have cast or cursed for that death, but the point still stands. Tapping buttons is on fire, and now Mikwin is gaining momentum. He was stuck at 0 kills for the first couple of minutes of the game, and now already at 4. This is going to be dangerous for Native Red.
Well, that was a perfect example of what a deficit does to you. Manny there, because of the deficit, down by 6 to 8 kills there. Really pressed through Carbine before checking his corners. I feel like if this game is anywhere near even like a 3-4 kill game instead, Manny plays through his process, checks his corner there, and doesn't go down on this Carbine side of the map. Because of it, the domino effect is that Barcode has camo. Barcode has another set of dynamos, and if they're not careful, this one's going to domino downhill to Native Red's demise.
A little Freudian slip there. I like how you were doing out of that one. Barcode is continuing to pile on that domino effect, kill after kill. I said I'd be surprised if this game ended without being a 1-1 series tie, but now it's an 11-point lead for Native White. They've tapped into some plays with tapping buttons, 15-7. Almost half of the kills for the team, and if they're about to put the finishing touches on this map, unless Native Red can find an answer specifically to this player.
And it's the assist. The assists tell the story of this game for me, Magic, because it's a plus 10 or so disparity on assists for Native White. And look at that, it reflects in the kill feed, in the scoreboard as well. Native White up 10 there, as well as looked like for a second Druck had a little bit in him to potentially bring it back to an 8-kill game. We saw earlier Sentinels lose despite being up in the 40s. So I'm not sure if Native White is going to give up this lead, but we've seen it before.
Don't count your wins until you see the victory across the screen. Soul Snipe is still in the fight, but taken down. Gilkey gets the melee kill, and even more importantly, doesn't even trade out his life. Native Red cannot trade on any kills. They need clean kills that are not traded back out, and instead it's Native White that are finding those clean kills. What was just an 8-point lead is now all the way to 12, tapping buttons.
Wow.
If he gets the last 3 kills, he ends with 20. I'm just saying.
Tapping button's gonna add another assist to the. It's kind of cheeky there. He's like, I know I'm slaying out. Like, let me get another assist on the board just to make my teammates love me more.
Oh, one short. He got 2 out of the last 3 kills in at 19. But wow, I mean, I'm a little bit flabbergasted, Mikowski. I fully expected this to be a 1-1 series, but Native White, we saw how strong they were at Charlotte. You were one of the first people to jump on the Native White bandwagon, predicting them to be a top 4 when they were barely out of pool play. And now Native White, I don't know. I think they're making fans of everybody.
Yeah, and Native White is such a dangerous roster, Magic, because, well, before Roster Mania hit, but right now I think they're the team with the most upside. Now with some of the teams that made team changes, they also have that potential upside because we don't know quite what to expect yet from those new teams. But especially before Roster Mania occurred this week, this Native White team had absolutely the most upside because, again, you look at the fact that McWin brought on international players who all didn't even speak the same language going into Charlotte, right? They had hardly played games together going into Charlotte. They didn't start scrimming until January, February. So they got a late start on it. And now we're starting to see this Native White squad put it together. And we're starting to see what they look like with better communication, better chemistry, better cohesion. And they are a deadly roster. I think Native Red, Native White, these are 2 squads that could both crack into that upper echelon, top 2, top 3. And you have to imagine that only one team can break into that. So, and honestly, at this rate, it looks like the greatest adversary for either of those 2 teams is going to be their own org. So Something's got to give. There's only so
Okay.
limited spots. Let me pose the question: which two of these teams breaks out, Native White or Native Red?
Well, I mean, right now, I think the obvious answer would have to be Native White, right? Like, they have that breakthrough potential. They have that momentum. It was Native Red that took them down in the last pool play, in the last bracket, rather, of the 4K 3-1. And looking like it might be a 3-0 if Native Red can come out with a win. It's definitely the favors Native White. But I want to go back to your point you said about the upper echelon of teams, right?
Yeah.
Optic phase, optic phase, optic phase.
Yeah,
we see them number 1 and number 2 all day, all day.
Yeah.
The tale is all this time. But the team that we've always looked at as breaking into that top 2 has been
SSG. Yep, now it's Native.
Which, ironically, though, SSG has been the gatekeeper for both of these Native rosters. In the last championship bracket just 3 weeks ago, it was SSG that eliminated both Native White and Native Red in 3-1 series. So that's got to be my question. Can either of these rosters, looking at Native White, take down a team like SSG to break into top 3? Then they can start to eye that 1-2 spot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barcode. Absolutely starting off this game 3 in Native White's favor. Once again, rolling that momentum that's been there ever since the start. A highly contested game 1 CTF, but a blowout in game 2. Where does this one go in game 3?
Oh no, it's looking like more of the same because it's the double cap early on from Native White. It's tapping buttons with the overshield and even a delayed activation of it, even with time to utilize it as he wants to. He has the heat wave on top of it. One of the counters to that overshield could be the heat wave. Tapping buttons, denying that from the hands of Native Red. And right now, Native White, even with that power control, they're not overextending to the triple cap. They look pretty content to climb the scoreboard with this AV hold.
Tapping buttons, almost like baby mouse and keyboard gameplay with how quickly he's able to wrap and look around these corners, instantly engage with his teammates. We're going to see a little bit of that as he pushes up with Gilkey and that heat wave. Has a player behind him, though, is going to get pressed out and pushed forward because of it. The pinch because of it. 3 go down because of it. And now Native Red has a chance to push off their front foot, but a huge grenade there from McQuinn, predicting the spawn in A, takes down the player on Big Door. That's a big play.
We're seeing a Sentinel-like strategy here from Native White. As they lose A, they capture C, but Native Red might be the team to get the first triple cap on the board. They're back in the points. It's a push for A, and here comes Pollock rounding the corner. He's going to find himself in a 1v2, even taking damage from behind him, maybe a 1v3. He has the singled out fight. It's a 1v1, and I love how Pollock strategically isolated a player. Instead of pushing in without numbers, he singled out one player, took down the kill. Is it going to be enough, though? Because the overshield, once again, in Tapping Button's hand. This has been the player of this series, and now made that much stronger with the overshield.
And look at the recognition of and timing from this Native White roster and the likes of Coach Trey. Now,
yeah,
Tapping Buttons gets immediately melted, but did you notice there? Tapping Buttons cleared out the overshield side of the map and waited to pop until he rotated all the way towards the pillar side. So it doesn't work out in Native White's favor, Magic, but like I say all the time, they're playing their process. So if they continue to play that consistently where they're waiting and baiting with that overshield, it's going to eventually turn out in their favor as they have a favor in this game up by 20 seconds. But now we see Native Red scoring 2, coming back a little bit.
Like this response from Native Red. They're only 20 seconds down, which, you know, in a game of Strongholds is a very highly contested game. But it's Native White now with the AC hold. Pollock gets the kill, stays alive, full strength. But a little bit of a deliberate strategy here. You saw him look towards A, nothing there. Picks up the sniper instead, but Gilkey's not letting Pollock get away for free. The frag grenade, looking like a tracking grenade, bounces down to the bottom tunnel. That sniper is still sitting there in that subway system.
Gilkey had such a great series so far, as he's really played well. Doesn't necessarily put up crazy stat numbers, but if you're watching his performance, you're watching his POV, you see Gilkey make plays time after time. And right now, no kills, no assists, no damage even to his scoreboard, but he's locking down B, continuing the scoring for Native White. So this is another one of those plays for Gilkey that doesn't show up in the stat sheet overall, but leads to games like this for Native White where they're looking at a potential trip cap now. So now Gilkey putting in the damage. That's going to flip C. That's going to lead to the trip cap. Gilkey playing so well, and he might just have a snipe as a reward, but no, he trades out with Soul Snipe. So now back river becomes a little bit of a power position with snipe up, overshield up. This one's a little mixy.
No way Tapping Buttons gets 3 out of 3 overshield. No way Tapping Buttons gets 3 out of 3
Devastating.
overshields in this game. Heartbreaking for Native Red. They had him down to 1 HP, but he clutches up. Still with the majority of that overshield left to work with, is going to force the trap in the back of B, not only getting the kill, saving his teammate's life in the process.
Man.
Should get the zone advantage right back, but he's finally melted the team fire from Native Red, but it's too late to stop the zone from flipping.
Barcode and Tapping Buttons have some of the best center discipline and tracking of any of these HCS Pro players. They're not necessarily regarded in the top 10 individually by most, but I don't know, man. I think by the time Worlds comes around, you got to keep an eye on this Barcode and Tapping Buttons duo. Two of the best players in the world. That's why McWin picked them up from competing sides. Australia's best, Mexico's best. Seeing it on full display. It's global domination at this point as Native White is up 100.
I know this is the North America HCS 4K, but you gotta love to see some of the best in the world out here competing. Tapping Buttons is taken down. In fact, it's slightly negative on this game, kills to death, but it still has been that impactful player, allowing Native White to have the 100+ lead. Here's a good response from Native Red as they take 2 down. Barcode, Gilkey, and now Tapping Buttons all hitting the respawn screen. McWin as the last alive. You talk about this over and over. How do you maximize your life as last alive? And I think a double kill is going to do just that.
Yeah, and McWin's having an easier go at it as the last player alive because of all of the chaos that Tapping Buttons and Barcode are causing. And even for the likes of Gilkey doing a great job there as well. Not necessarily his role to get as involved in the mix to play cracked and fast like we saw Tapping Buttons do there. Ultimately goes down on cuts. And now we finally have an overshield win for Native Red. An exasperation in the tone of my voice because I imagine that's how Native Red is feeling right now as well, with a chance to mount a comeback though with this overshield.
Did Soulside just jump over that plasma pistol round and then answer back with the sniper body shot? I want to watch that playback in slow-mo if we have the capability, because it was kind of beautiful. And maybe it was some exasperation coming out from Native Red as they finally get their hands on the overshield. They are getting their hands on this cross the 3-digit mark 100. He could force the cap, but it looks like they get up for grabs. What a snipe from Soul Snipe himself, living up to his name and stopping that B cap. That means that double points are still counting for Native Red.
Oh, and he's going to do one better and get the reset. Does he rotate to Nest and then to C to reset C as well? That would be one hell of a sequence from Soul Snipe.
Bro.
Let's see. Yeah, chill, bro. That would be too crazy, yo. But Soul Snipe, he can do it. I've seen him do it so many times. And there we go. Start the queue. There it is, the double kill. He is going to probably likely reset C. And don't look now, but Native Red is mounting one hell of a comeback.
Hold up, let him cook, because Soul Snipe is cooking out here right now, finding kill after kill. No time for Soul Snipe to sit on an objective to capture it. Let him go after the slaves, because he keeps finding more. If it's not the sniper, it's the BR. Even when he was being flanked, he had the presence of mind to turn that play back around. And with it, this game is about to be turned back around. Native Red are just 12 points down, and the fight goes to B.
Oh, I don't know how McWin stayed alive initially. That was unbelievable. Took that body shot from Soul Snipe, rotated all the way over to B. Ultimately went down, but opened up the scoring to where it's potentially there for Native White, and they're gonna secure it. Oh my God, the 99% had to hold my breath for a little bit. And Native Red, they're not gonna let them score this for long. They're already defending it, but McWin laying claim to that B spot, and magic. Just like that, Native Red are back in this, and if not for that previous play from McWin, Native Red likely have the lead. Unbelievable. Drop with the overshield.
Not over yet. What was a blowout lead from Native White. Native Red off the backs of Soul Sniper back in the fight, and now it's Druck adding on to that. Druck with 14 slays, 12 assists, been setting up teammates all game. And Native Red, if they win this fight out of A, they could get a triple cap right back. It's Druck in the 1v2. He has help. He gets both kills. He stays alive. Native Red about to get another triple cap, and they steal back the lead.
3 down for Native White and a trip cap for now for Native Red, but that's not going to last long. C Gonna be the spawn point for Native White as they quickly take it. That's huge though, Magic. So often we see teams that get in the blender, they get that third that third cap for the drip cap. They come off spawn and they're like, oh my god, their hair's on fire. They're freaking out. Do we go for A, B, C? There we saw that Native White roster instantly go for B, C, excuse me, stop the bleeding. And now they're flipping to A. Native Red with the lead in this game. Comeback is right there. 90% loading into the hundreds as well. Soul Snipe looking to put the finishing touches on this map.
Soul Snipe the first to hit the 20 kills, and the kills have been flashy at that. Another snipe kill.
Double kill.
No way. The double kill.
Oh, do it.
No, if you eat your tail, you might into a triple for Soul Snipe. And look, those kills. To Native Red taking the win, the comeback victory, and they're coming back in this series.
Oh, and those goosebumps you feel on the back of your neck. That's momentum in the form of Native Red. I know everyone can feel it. Oh yeah, this is coming back. This could potentially be a game 5, the game 5 that we were hoping for, Matthew. This is our last series of the day. If Native White take it, we're going home too. So we're Native Red fans for the time being, at least for game 4. As we have our sights set on a potential reverse sweep. And what we saw from Native Red that last game tells me they are absolutely up to the task.
Native White, Native Red. I can give an argument to root for both of these teams. Both of these teams' rosters, their stories throughout HCS Season 2 are stories that tug on the heartstrings. But right now, I'm ultimately a fan of Game 5s. If Native Red can win this Game 4, absolutely incredible. But this game 3, it is the story of Soul Snipe, shot after shot of that S7, proving why he has the snipe in his name.
And it wasn't just the snipe, it was the overshield grabs. We saw the first 3 all go tapping buttons way.
Right.
And that was absolutely the catalyst towards a big lead. And oh my god, I love this setup from Soul Snipe. We felt like he was about to pop off. He started popping off, and it was the overshield grab and then compounded with the sniper kills from Soul Snipe at a time where they were down 100 plus, but it was the clutch plays from him that brought them back little by little, chipping away at this lead all the way to the 200s. It wasn't until the 200s that Native Red finally took the lead, and they never looked back. And judging by the replays, Magic, Soul Snipe never died with that snipe. He was insane. He was unreal.
Absolutely out of his mind place. And right here, this double kill, oh my god.
Shut it down.
And then we had our eyes on the triple, barely misses the triple onto Barcode, but nonetheless, Native Red started to steamroll in the second half of that game, hoping to carry the momentum into game 4. If you're at home watching, if you love high-level competitive Halo, I know that you are absolutely engrossed in this matchup right here, right now. These two teams have been clawing at each other throughout Season 2, and this could just be the tipping point.
You have to imagine no teams have more familiarity with each other, and if these guys are going to lock down the 4-5 seeds for the rest of the year, we're going to see this much more than just today. But what a special treat we have on our screens. Native Red versus Native White. This one has the feelings of going the distance.
Cheering for a game 5. Let me see if I can give a little bit of a caster's blessing back to Native Red. What we want to see are some perfect kills. No, Gilkey, get the shock rifle. No, I need Native Red to have the shock rifle. Okay, we'll save that one for later. We'll save it for later. Yeah. Gilkey now with the shock rifle, looking for a perfect kill of his own. Native White bouncing right back from that game 4, sorry, that game 3 loss. They're hoping that game 4 is theirs. They want this series to be 3-1 their way, as Native Red took them down 3-1 in the last 4K. Gilkey trying to flip that switch, and he finds the shots onto Soul Snipe. He jumps up, he lines up the headshot for the kill, keeping that shock rifle in his hands, and maybe even more importantly, out of the hands of Soul Snipe.
Wow, 3 down for Native Red. I gotta point out Gilkey again with that centering discipline. It's perfect centering, but we saw Manny slide through top gold. He broke that perfect centering. Oh my god, he slides through and drug slides through there and gets sniped in the face. But previously it was Manny sliding through to break the centering from Gilkey, but at this point he is all warmed up. We saw him, the crouch strafe from Soul Snipe wasn't enough. Drug sliding in at 1,000 miles an hour wasn't enough, as Gilkey put on quite the show with that sniper rifle, but now it's in the hands of Native Red.
Manny with the last burst of that shock rifle deals out enough damage for the assist. And it was Native White going down in numbers that gives Native Red the hold of the objective. None other than Talik saying, I pick up the mantle. Leave players like Soul Snipe and Manny to go out and find the slays while he counts up the objective time. A tough takedown there. But look at how much time has been milked. 30 seconds in climbing.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Two players on Talik. Talik recognizes it and plays ball. Tapping buttons was setting up for the reset. He expected it as well, but the back smack on him takes him down. And it looks like Native Red, despite not having numbers, has the best chance of grabbing this oddball, but Barcode looking to change that story with the camo.
Ball carrier.
Yeah, Native Red looks like they had the numbers, looks like they had the map position. Barcode could be the equalizer here with the camo and a perfectly placed frag grenade. Now, different than capture the flag, when you're holding the flag in CTF with camo, you and the flag become invisible, but in oddball, that objective marker stays on whether you have camo or not. So that's why you see that trade out. Barcode tosses the oddball over to Mikwin, but it's taken down. So, sorry, Barcode stays alive. He gets the takedown. Now, I caster cursed him and he's dead. In fact, it's 3 going down for Native White. Mikwin is last alive, plays that ball out to the middle of the map, waiting for teammates to respawn.
Yeah, plays it out to the middle, but not close. Almost needed it to be directly on the reset to provide enough length and distance, as Native Red didn't have enough of it. They had a pretty quick and easy grab of that oddball. Already have it set up here on the needle side because of it, so a full reset was needed there for Native White. Instead, they reset by going all 4 down, and Native Red is now doubled up on this lead.
It's a little bit of a 2v2. It's Manny and Talik in the back of Attic, and I think there was a pinch possibly from Barcode on the side of Long Haul, but instead, Native White now all rotating over to that A side. Mikwin left alone to chase down the oddball. He gets the big kill. Already 44-point lead though for Native Red, and Mikwin has once again last alive, needs to work some magic with the shock rifle as he lines up the headshot, gets the takedown, and Barcode adding to that kill count with a double kill of his own. A big turnaround just in time for Native White.
Yeah, those are those right time, right place kills we talk about for Mikwin as he finds another one. Ball in the favor and possession of Native White, despite what looked like a runaway there for Native Red. Druck not able to make it around the corner. Mikwin gets that one clutch kill that then snowballs all the way down this direction. Soul Snipe with camo and no shields elects to wait for full shields and does a great job. The patience pays off as he now has a shock rifle to work with in addition to this camo.
There's no way, right? There's no way Soul Snipe can just secure this round with like some perfect shock rifle.
Not like we saw that
headshots, right? Not like that's happened before. That Soul Snipe puts the game in his hands with that precision power weapon. Tries to find the shots on tapping buttons. He forces him out of that high ground position. He gets the kill. I can't believe that wasn't a headshot. It was so perfectly lined up, but only the body shot is credited. Still comes out with the kills. And it's Druck and Mikwin as the last 2 alive for their teams. Mikwin with the plaza pistol, no less, trying to track down quite literally onto Druck as he rounds the corner just in time. Now Mikwin is singled out, alone, scared, and on the respawn screen.
Dueling strategies there. Mikwin wanted to play for Slays. Druck wanted to play for that oddball rotation. Gets it to the long haul, but it's Gilkey out rotating and out big braining everybody as he finds the oddball and the positioning to bring Native White back in this game. Just as it looked like Native Red was about to double up on the lead again. It's now just an 11-second match. Under 2 to go.
Gilkey just threw everything at Tall, including the kitchen sink, and he rotates through blue pipes to find the back smack. Both teams playing with the intensity. Like this last oddball hold could just spell the win. A minute on the clock, and it looks like the option one over Native White right rotating through the back. Still 8 seconds down. Druck on the push, but Barcode with the disruptor damage over time. Gilkey is taken down, but he doesn't play the ball. Barcode now at that reset, only a 4-point difference.
Oh, 90 seconds left in this game and only 4 seconds separating these two teams. This one's going to come down to the wire. The strategy going to be on full display. Might see a player milk out those last couple seconds, drop the oddball, then play for clock. That is what we're setting up for a fast and frenetic 1-minute finish.
Oh, it's tapping buttons, sneaking away the oddball, and here comes Mikwin. 3 go down for Native Red, 2 go down for Native White. Do they have the numbers? Do Native White have the numbers to lock down this game? It's Talik, the slain leader for Native Red, rotating around behind, but look at that smart oddball rotation right back to the respawners. Native White are back 4 strong. A minute and change on the clock with Talik being the potential game changer. Shock rifle for Talik needing to get the break, and somehow out of all that mess, Native Red, they find the oddball in their hands.
Talik with the shock rifle. This could be huge here. Oddball back at the reset. 7 seconds separating these two teams. Talik seemingly needing 7 shots, but it takes down his opponent. 2 down for Native White. Native Red are in fact going to regain this lead, and now how do they play this strategically? They're probably, I would guess, they're going to play for slays and play for more time here. No, they're going to need to play for more time because Native Red has milked out a couple extra seconds, and this one's going to come down to 1-2 seconds, 1-2 seconds for either of these two squads, and a final push.
Tapping buttons with the clutch takedown. We've seen tapping buttons so strong in games 1 and 2. A little bit of a colder start here, but now this could be the game-changing slays. Tapping button stays alive. It's Mikman who gets the frag kill. Native White just 10 seconds away from winning round number 1. Barcode rotating out to where the respawners are. Nobody can get there. Talik might be the last-ditch effort, but he is shut down. Native White takes the first round.
No shot. I'm really surprised there. You know, on an Aquarius down 3-1, you see teams desperate. That was the exact same situation here for Native Red, but I saw no desperation from them. Instead, Native White take round 1 handily, and now have Native Red on the brink of elimination in this series.
Say the brink of elimination one more time. That was cool.
Yeah, the brink of elimination.
It's pretty intense, right? 1 round away, and Native Red down 1-2 in the series. Native Red need to string together 2 rounds of oddball to force that game 5 that we're all wanting to see. But Mikman has been a problem from start to finish. 20 kills for Mikman as Talik has him on the run. But look at the health. Look at the teamwork from Native White. Talik thought he had Mikman dead to rights, and Barcode shows up. On the other side, the other duo was Gilkey and Tapping Buttons also winning out their play.
And this is a really bad spot for Native Red. This is a great spot for Native White, because even if Native Red collectively pushes through and takes everyone down, they should get a reset, but Manny sneaks through. Just as I thought Native White was going to be set up for the well-timed reset.
No one's there.
Native Red sneaks in, flanks it, takes it, and now, wow, they have a chance at getting the lead.
Hoping to gain the lead, but they're not going to be given much time. Is this a rotation from Native Red? They're trying to sneak away the oddball. No, they are forced to reset it. Native White quick on the collapse from long haul side. Barco is isolated opposite side of the map from the rest of his team. That shock rifle is being dropped. Now Gilkey picking up the oddball as Tapping Buttons trying to block off lanes of fire with those grenades, but it seemed like he predicted wrong. He was kind of predicting the bat ledge, but instead it was top of A where the push comes through. He gets the perfect before going down. Barcode as last alive comes out with a kill and hopefully softened up Talik. Native Red are starting to stabilize.
Yeah, Barcode did a great job to trade out, did a great job to take down Talik's shields, and despite Barcode being dead long ago, Talik still at low shields because of that pressure and push from Barcode, but Talik finally able to get away with full shields and that oddball. Because of it, Native Red are going to have a 10-second lead.
They go 4 down. I think Soul Snipe is the last alive. Now 4 down are Native Red. Native White, they saw that lead switch sides, and they took that personally because they take down the whole team. They take the oddball and the active camo. Tapping Buttons has been the player with the most of the power-ups. We saw 3 overshields in a row on live fire, and now the camo, but he kind of mispredicts. He knows there's 2 players here at the Dorito. They didn't anticipate 1 player being added back.
3 down again for Native White. We've heard that before, but Native Red hasn't really been able to take full advantage. They've taken advantage of it, but not full advantage. Yeah. But now they're looking to put it together. Talik takes down Tapping Buttons, and this is a stagger here for Native White. 2 go down, 3-4 collectively. Very curious to see if these players spawn together. Looks like Barco's trying to anchor that C collective spawn to allow them to push out together. But instead, Talik gets the sticky grenade from across the map from Gilkey, and that's one hell of a way to open up these lanes.
How you open up the lanes. Native White are leading the way with slays, leading the way with assists. They're up 1-0 in this game and trying to lock it down, but Native Red aren't going anywhere without a fight. 2 up on each side. Tolic versus Barcode. It looks like it's Mikwin on the other side. And look at the trade. Mikwin won his 1v1 on Manny. Tolic wins his 1v1. But which team capitalizes? Which team gets to that objective? This up for grabs, quite literally.
Tolic back anchoring that bat ledge. He's doing a great job at it. Had the quick flick earlier, looking to take down tapping buttons across the map. That would be a huge anchor point to eliminate if you're native red. As it looks like Mikwin has the flank on Tolic, but Tolic has it figured out. Huge play. I don't know if he had the audio or the communication.
He did.
Either way, it takes down
You saw the
Mikwin.
ping, right? Did you see the teammate pinging
Yeah.
Mikwin on the gold stairs?
Huge
that
comms
teammate
there.
also did some opening damage, but that was where the information, where the initial damage came through in order to win out that fight. So even though Native White are leading overall in assists, we're starting to see Native Red starting to pick things back up.
Yeah, massive. Mikwin there could have absolutely destroyed that hold and setup for
Yes.
Native Red, but despite that, Native Red going down again. Three on that long haul side, now 2, and tapping buttons has full choice, full control of it as he has the high ground, baiting that middle of the map, almost like, here, Manny, Tolic, why don't you go chase after that oddball, because I'm waiting for you. Got 2 players waiting for you on the blue side, so this is looking like enough of a control for Native White now to regain the lead.
Mikwin in a 1v1, wins it out, traded back out. One go down on each side. Native White trying to hold on to the objective, but Native Red not letting them get comfortable. It's Tolic versus Barcode, and no time to waste. Immediately overextends past the oddball holder. Disruptor pistol in hand again. Tolic plus Disruptor pistol. Name a more iconic duo.
Oh, he needed a duo right there, actually taking down Mikwin to no shields, no shots left in that Disruptor. A teammate behind him could have helped clean it up instead. Gold retains in possession for Native White, but that oddball retains in possession for Native Red, and they're looking to rotate it over to the elevator. Pinch potential, though, with Gilkey, but he goes down. Barcode now gonna have to make a hero play, but he doesn't make it. Native Red, tapping buttons is the hero instead. Just as it looked like Native Red had full oddball control and a built-on lead, it's now Native White who looked to steal it right back.
Every player of the 8 we see on the screen has the potential to break through that hero play when needed, but this series has been tapping buttons time and time again.
Wow.
Now it's Native Red stealing back the lead. They finally deal with that opposition. A 5-point lead. Camo is spawning in. Native Red have the numbers. Tapping buttons might just push into a 1v2 situation. That grenade finds the damage. Now he switches targets, but it's Solstice with a shock rifle shuts it down.
Native Red needing a round here to tie it and send us to a best of 3 oddball rounds here. Soul Snipe staying alive here. Top 8 could do just that, but no, he gets taken down.
Look at the rotation.
Barcode with shock rifle now in his hands. Native with a 20-second lead. That oddball is going to reset. Mikwin with camo. Barcode with shock rifle. So despite the reset, Native White has plenty to work with.
They had the camo, that smart grapple play from Barcode, and now they're gonna rotate right back to the back and see if Barcode can stay alive, but he's taking some fire. Teammates get kills across the board, but he's last alive. Barcode with the oddball at the back of C. It's enough to milk a few seconds, but Druk stops that in its tracks. 117, the Master Chief number goes across the clock. And Native Red 8 seconds away from forcing this round 3. Druk didn't see that player in the corner behind him. It's Gilkey just behind. Gilkey tosses out the frags. He gets 1 kill, trying to dive out of the way of the plasma grenade. Finds a BR bullet instead.
Now, if you're Native Red, you don't want to get baited by this situation, thinking 8 seconds is more like 2. Instead, they play for the team wipe and make that 8 seconds feel just like 2 seconds. Doing a great job there, playing their process, playing patient, and because of it, we have a tied game for 1-1. This final round of oddball will determine whether Native White wins this series or Native Red sends us to a game 5.
I've never been filled with so much joy going into a round 3 of oddball. Native Red need to win back-to-back rounds to force that game 5, but Native White are poised to shut this series down right here, right now. Tolic sneaking away with the camo, Duck's back, and so even as Druk is taken down, it was all a decoy. It was all a distraction to allow Tolic once again with the Disruptor pistol in hand, and now even more deadly with the camo. Here comes the rotation. Manny sneaks away. Tolic's gonna overextend. There's gonna be 2 players here at the top of glass. First first one is going to be tapping buttons, but Barcode as well. Talik, great patience. He sees the player rotate past him, but he knows he has to shut down high ground. Tapping buttons is traded out because of the damage over time.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I wasn't sure that Camo was giving any tells to his location, but instead tapping buttons had it figured out. I almost wonder if they sent Barcode out as bait. Instead, Talik didn't take it, didn't start shooting at Barcode until he was already taken down by tapping buttons. Huge defensive stop there from Native White. Doesn't look like Native Red had enough to run away with this opening start.
It's a triple.
It's tied instead.
Want Talik to hit the triple, a nice double kill, but honestly, Talik makes the smart play, doubling back with the shock rifle. Tapping buttons might be the last line of defense, and that body shot sets up the assist. Talik keeping his life alive, using the grapple, the movement cuts off Gilkey, but Gilkey wins out a pivotal 1v1. Shock rifle changing hands. Native Red across might be taking some combined damage from the shock rifle, but they stop Barcode. Nobody's there to capitalize on Gilkey's damage.
Gilkey there, almost like bait, I want to say. Oh, Gilkey almost with the incredible grapple play. I think he had the accuracy. It just looked like the distance was a little too far as that oddball flies off the map, resets, and we have a Camo reset as well. Gilkey good to grab that, though, and that's huge because he takes down Manny as well. Just to look like Camo might have went in favor of Native Red. You have Gilkey staying alive with it, but not for long.
It threw like 5 grenades at him at the back of stacks. The amount of resources spent to shut down that Camo. Native White, 20 seconds, cutting that lead in half, trying to climb up from that early lead that Native Red had. Mickwin going for a little remote detonation damage, but Tapping Buttons gets the kill. Tapping Buttons and Mickwin each at 33 kills apiece. This is another game, and it might not be Streets oddball, but this is another game where we're gonna have to add up that collective score, kill count rather, at the end of the game, because both of these teams are popping off. 4 or 5 players now past the 30 kill mark.
Yeah, potential 300 kill game in this lobby, and 300 total seconds may be needed for either of these two teams to win this oddball finally. 41-39, narrow edge here for Native White as they look to push through. Oddball just below them, even in the kill feed. 3-3 here. McWin and the rest of this Native White roster are going to have to play really good teamwork here as they have the positioning, and with that damage, with those damage numbers, McWin feels like he has the confidence to grab that oddball, but he's going to get picked out easily. Now Native Red with that slay has the numbers advantage to push up and take out this Native White roster.
Oh, Tapping Buttons finds the unfortunate grenade, but Barcode trades out a kill as well. Barcode now with the shock rifle, looking for a couple of perfect kills that could just be the breakthrough moment. But there's 2 players from Native Red ready for this extension. Drunk is here at the Dorito. Barcode misses on the shot.
No.
He doubles back, ends up as a trade from the plasma grenade.
That's so massive because I think McWin's gonna grab that shock rifle and that oddball. So just as it looks like oddball and shock are going to Native Red, it's Native White instead.
Full Snipe grapples to that oddball. I had to wait for just a quick second for the observer POV to catch up with what the grapple was doing. Secures the oddball, but he might have just hand delivered the objective to the enemy team. Native White, they push through Red Pipes. They steal it back, but there's still numbers here for Native Red. Gilkey gets a little bit of that interlink damage. He finds the kill onto one more interlinked, a little bit of team fire, the double kill, the triple kill. Gilkey with the overkill.
Gilkey, Milky, looking like some sweet cream, finds the overkill and finds some more oddball time for this Native White roster, looking to put the finishing touches on this series in emphatic fashion.
Beautiful, impactful overkill from Gilkey, and now Tapping Buttons matches the kill count with 36 of his own. This is the home stretch for Native White. 35 seconds and climbing. Native Red nearly need an overkill of their own if they're going to get back into this match. Tapping Buttons having a harder time cleaning up the kill on Drug than expected. Does find that final headshot, and now it's just a 25-second left for Native White to take the series. Look at Barcode, rotates the oddball out to stacks, doesn't play it off to the back, doesn't drop it in the water, instead plays it out to bottom mid. Soul Snipe is here, trying to win a couple of slays alongside of Manny, but Mickwin is ready. Mickwin is using that oddball as bait. Tapping Buttons finds a grenade kill. Mickwin finds the objective. This is the hope for Native White.
That's tough because in back-to-back swing sequences, it's that oddball swinging in favor of Native White. And oh, Gilkey, man. Oh, that overkill. That really felt like a game-winning play. Let's see if Native White has the finality here to put Native Red to bed. Four down. Four down for Native White with camo up. So Native Red, don't look now, but they now have some comeback potential, and the path is realistic.
You know one thing about Native Red, they are a scrappy team that never calls it quits too early. Ice in their veins. Is it going to be enough? Tolik once again has the disruptor, not enough ammo, so opts to not reload right there. Bodies dropping to the ground. Still that number advantage back again for Native Red as 3 go down for Native White. They're singling out. Gilkey is the last alive. They can get to the objective. 90 seconds on the play clock as they rotate the ball through the back of blue pipes. The next round of slays could determine the winner of this game.
Gilkey made that individual hero play, but it's Native Red looking like the Fantastic Four, using teamwork to now come back in this game, only down 5 seconds. A minute and a half to go. The pressure is on from Native White, but it's not strong enough in the pressure and defense there on blue. I don't even know if they're going to break through that. Unbelievable. Native Red can win it right here.
That's it. That's game. There's no one. Wait. One player left. One player left. I spoke too soon. Gilkey snuck through long haul. Force that reset with Native Red. Just need 4 more seconds. Native Red positioning on top of attic. They get to the oddball. 2 seconds. That's it. Native Red. They ice up. They force the game 5.
What are we witnessing? Oh my God. A game 5. Wow. I am at a loss for words. I started... I don't want to say riding off Native Red, but after that overkill from Gilkey, and then the play afterwards, they get another team wipe and rotate the oddball away from Native Red. It looked like that was all she wrote, but Magic, we got one more.
You know what? LVT said, Magikowski, y'all get 2 series, make the most of it, and the players came through, giving us the game 5. That was what we wanted, what we predicted. We both came into the series saying, no way this is a 3-0. No way this is even a 3-1. This series, this matchup has to go the distance. Here's that overkill from Gilkey, where we saw this was the turning point. We thought Gilkey off that overkill. That's game. That's going to be it. There's no way Native Red come back. But it was the overkill from Gilkey that was matched by the team plays from Native Red. Just when we were about to write them off, they came in with the clutch factor in space.
I almost wonder how quickly Native White grabbed that oddball after the overkill, because I'm looking at that. I'm wondering, how did they not take that all the way through? But because of that, 2 wins for Native White in games 1 and 2. 2 wins for Native Red in games 3 and 4. Does Native White regain the form we saw in games 1 or 2, or does Native Red complete one of the more incredible reverse sweeps that we've seen here this year in Halo Infinite?
You can just look at the series breakdown, Mikowski. It seems like every game has been like hard fought. Maybe game 2 is the most like decisive win, with Native White taking it 50-36. That was the only one where you could maybe like catch half of a breath. The rest of it has been highly contested. Game 1 all the way through the series. Incredible plays from both teams. And I wouldn't want anything more than a game 5 between both these sides of that native gaming organization.
Whew. Game 5, Streets Slayer coming up. I usually have a decent feel about where this is going to go. This one feels like the 50-49 finish we saw in Optic versus Sentinels. I feel like is what we're about to witness here in Native Red versus Native White, because both of these two teams, they're part of the same org. The familiarity is there. The recognition of each other's strategy is there. And most importantly, Magic, this skill level for each of these two teams and teamwork skill level, both seem to be dead even, exactly the same. So I don't know where this one goes in game 5. One thing I do know, though, is it's going to be very fun to watch.
We talked early in the pregame about roster mania, and surprisingly enough, out of 8 teams making roster changes, this is one of the few matchups that does not contain a roster change. Both of these native rosters staying as their team of 4. There was a roster change, however, on the side of G1, and they might have just found the winning formula because I get the update from production that G1 took that series 3-1 over SSG. That's the 1 versus the 2 seed in that Pool C. SSG coming in as the overall number 3. If I work my way backwards, I believe G1 was the number 6 seed. So an upset early on in the day, and Pool play is just getting started.
Yeah, this is kind of incredible to know. It looks like all of our 1 versus 2 seeds are playing here to start the day. FaZe versus Rebellion, that was a 1 and 2 seed. That went to game 5 where FaZe took it. SSG versus G1. G1 takes that. Native White versus Native Red. That's going to a game 5. And I'm trying to think of the only other series.
The 4. The Optic.
And then Optic versus Sentinels. That's right. 1 versus 2 there as Optic wins that series by a score of 3-1. So early on in this day, Magic, early on in pool play, we're already getting to kind of separate a lot of these teams despite not having played through all of the series.
Yeah. I mean, of the 4 series of the 1 and 2 seed, 2 have gone to a game 4 and 2 now going to a game 5. And that, if that doesn't show you how tight the top level of play is, that's the 1 through 8 seeds competing. And the competition this weekend, you said it might be rough to try to top what we saw in the last 4K, but this has the makings to give us just that, another level of competitive closeness amongst the top 8 teams.
Yeah, and you have to imagine the winner of Street Slayer is likely to take this pool as well. So despite it being so early in the day, this is one of those matches that really is going to have an effect on the remainder of this tournament. You're going to feel the effects of this series well on into tomorrow because of how tightly contested these 2 teams are. 1 and 2 in the pool. And I believe so far, Magic, the only upset between 1 and 2 teams was G1 taking down SSG. Does Native Red have the ability to match? And imagine that, Magic, if in across all of our 4 pool play matches between 1 and 2, half went to the upset, went to the underdog. So we feel like a changing of the guard has been kind of bubbling in the community for the past couple weeks. Now you have roster mania, like they're throwing a match into a powder keg. As this one is blowing up, we are having a shifting of the course here in Halo Infinite because of all these team changes.
Well, if that cauldron is boiling, I'm going to give it a stir. Trouble, double, toil and trouble, I think is the correct saying there, because I want to see more upsets. And when we were heading into this series, all we wanted was to get to the game 5. Now we have the game 5, and I'm going to go one further. I want that upset to come through. I want that full reverse sweep. Not anything against Native White, one of my favorite rosters in the scene, but just for the sake of drama, just for the storylines. Remember that today is pool play. Today kicks off the championship bracket, but that championship bracket is going to continue on tomorrow. Top 2 from each pool goes into the upper bracket. 3rd place in each pool goes into the first round of the elimination bracket, and the 4th team in the pool eliminated. A lot on the line with these pool play matches,
Triple
and right
kill.
now it's Manny coming out with a triple kill. Native Red are itching for the reverse sweep upset.
Flawless start here for Native Red. Has Native White back against the wall early in this game 5, but I got to go back to Charlotte Magic against Sentinels. Native White down 47-39, and they found a way to win. So this Native Red roster, you cannot build a lead big enough to feel safe against Native White.
There's no safety with these teams, right? I think that's what we learned from that oddball game 4. You can never get comfortable. You have to fight to the bitter end. Native Red with a little bit of an early lead, and now it's Barcode. Goes in for the trade, trying to equalize it back out. Tapping buttons. You don't normally single out the Disruptor pistol, but I think keeping it out of Tolik's hand might count as a win, as you see Tapping Buttons have it in his back pocket.
Yeah, the Disruptor is still one of the most underutilized weapons in the sandbox. So much damage potential with that damage over time, as we see Tapping Buttons look to stay alive with it. Double kill potential, but 2 go down. He stays alive, doesn't get the double, but gets the end result he was looking for, as this one's now tied once again. No, despite the triple kill from Manny and the hot start for Native Red, it's now Native White up 1.
1-point lead now for Native White, seeming out of nowhere. A little bit of stabilizing, right? There's no rockets in play. As you can see, the timer for rockets just 15 seconds away. A lot of BR grenade fights and the team fire as well, but Tolik is a little bit singled out. You see 2 teammates on the opposite side. It looks like a 2-2 split here now for Native Red. Gilkey is the most extended from Native White over on that Bulldog side, and he's catching some of that crossfire from Talik, lining up that narrow window. And what they did is they forced him back long enough for Druck to get the rockets in hand. Druck quickly putting them to work. First one doesn't find its mark. He takes the second kill, tapping buttons, trades it right back out, even with rockets in hand. Not much of a swing of advantage.
Yeah, Talik there didn't get any slays.
In fact, it went the other way. Right?
Yeah.
Druck had rockets, but Native Red went 4 down.
Yeah, that was incredible because Talik, he didn't get the slays to get rockets, but he got the damage to open up his team to grab rockets. But despite what looked like an advantage and edge for Native Red, is now in favor by the count of 4 for Native White. Barcode looking to continue with that disparity. 14-10 now in the feed. Native Red starting to mount a little bit of a comeback. Barcode looking to get back into the action, and you can tell McWin was calling out some low shields opponents because right as Barcode turned that corner, he was pre-firing, took his shot, landed it, and Native White still up 3.
Call Barcode the janitor because he's cleaning up kills. Kill after kill, going to Barcode, making it look easy, but it's off the backs of teammates, setting up his success. A quick eye check, and we look fairly even on assists. A little bit of an advantage over here to Native White. Very familiar with that 5-point lead. You'd expect them to have a little bit of that edge out on assists as well. Marco now doubling back, dealing out some damage. He still has the Stalker rifle left to work with. He's opting to stick with that VR instead. He's going to stop this push through mid as he rushes in, trade it out. Stalker rifle hits the ground. Gilkey might try to rotate to pick it up. There's too much incoming fire. A nice round of slays from Native Red, but they stay at 5 points behind.
Yeah, Manny with that opening triple kill since then has gone 3 and 5, so a little bit off from where he started off. And you look at the likes of this Native White roster, and they have the assists that look to match Native Red, so I'm actually not quite sure what the disparity is yet. We haven't really seen full control of rockets. This is just a clean, pure 4-5 kill lead here for Native White. There really is no secret sauce or reasoning. This is just the consistency levels that we're starting to see build here with Native White as they take 3 down for Native Red, grab another rocket control, and look to be in the lead convincingly here.
Still goes back in my mind to when Druck won rockets, but Native White won out the slays. And now we see that shift, right? Now McWin has rockets and is finding the slaying advantage. He gets 2 kills with 2 rockets. It's not enough to pick up that power weapon. It's how do you put it to work? And I have to credit McWin for the patience. No surprise there. This veteran player is looking for the perfect timing to take full advantage. But we do see 2 going down. Native Red finding the numbers. Pollock versus McWin in a 1v1. Ends up as a trade. Soul Snipe out of nowhere. Was that a grenade takedown? I didn't even see where Soul Snipe was to get that kill.
And that could be a trade we look back on for McWin that was very well timed, as Native Red are down 7 in this one, but I've seen moments, there's been moments where they've had numbers advantage. They just haven't been able, when Native Red get 2 down for Native White, they're not able to push all the way through to get those next 2 stagger kills and sort of put this squad in a blender. Instead, Native White has been able to hold strong. Anytime they lose numbers, they hold the fort, hold strong, and hold this lead up 5.
The 4 versus the 5 seed does not disappoint. Native White came out strong with 2 wins in a row, and then Native Red answered back with 2 wins. And now that leads us to this game 5, that 6-point lead held by Native White, but Soul Snipe, if he gets heated up, he is a game changer, as we've seen throughout this series. He's taken down. Native White's kind of stabilizing with the numbers. 2 go down for Native White. Native Red, they need to find those 2 kills. The 2 remaining players on the team, they need to single them out and trap them. It's tapping buttons in laundry, jumping up the tires. He gets the melee. He's not even traded out until now. He comes out with that kill first.
Tapping buttons looks like he's playing a totally different game. He is at a 5 to 10% tick increase in speed. I'm just seeing something diffy when I watch Tapping Buttons play, as Native White have built back that 2-possession team wipe lead, now up 7, heading into the 40s. This is the exact opposite of where Native White was in Charlotte, where they came back. Does Native Red have that same answer instead?
Barcode, barcode, barcode. 18 and 10 right now. That double kill with the Rockets. Formerly from Australia, now playing in North America, being brought over by McWin to fill out this Native White roster. And wow, fitting in like a glove. I love to see Barcode succeed. You know, he's one of the most likable pro players on the scene. He's got that smile, just that cheeky grin, but man, he talks some trash on land too. He's got the fight in him, 6-point game. Barcode rotates around, finds the back of 2 players. He has damage onto both, tries to run back to his teammates to get a little bit of help, but Barcode shuts it down. Now some opening damage onto Manny at the back of B. Native White are in the home stretch unless Native Red can come out with some miracle plays.
Tapping buttons once again. He doesn't even need to play fast paced to have the upper edge on his opponent. 4 go down for Native Red. This will all but do it. 10-kill lead here for Native White. Despite the fact that we got to a game 5, they're making sure we walk away from this series thinking that they had the convincing win, as they do in fact close the gate on Native Red's reverse sweep comeback potential. Well short of where we thought they were going to be in game 5, losing 50-39. Wow.
And it was that game 2 that was the most decisive of the series, 50-36. And what that tells me when we're looking at this matchup, when it comes to Slayer, it's Native White. If we see a rematch of these 2 teams down the road, which I expect, all the more pressure on Native Red. They need to take every objective game. So when you're looking at a 5-game series, I'm gonna say that the point of losing the series was that game 1 when Native Red had the potential game-tying capture, shut down by tapping buttons. They delayed a little bit too much. They ran out of time. Imagine if that game 1 had gone to Native Red, how this series would have been different. We wouldn't have even made it to a game 5.
Yeah.
But Native White showing us that when it comes to Slayer, they are the